Yeah.
What? Oh no.
LiftedChucks.com has the juice.
Look at how close they are. He's got shots and he's got takedowns. Boom, gets caught with that right hook. Drops him. And then back into his web, back into what he wants. This man is not afraid of Charles Oliveira. He's not afraid of his top control. He's doing everything in his power to hit him, score points, drop them, to eventually come down to take it where he wants to take it. Welcome to this episode of Fight Feedback. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on this episode of Fight Feedback, I'm going to be, that's right, I know, I'm going to be going back and actually watching the Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira fight. Guys, these guys are scheduled to fight once again from UFC 280 to fight again on this October of 2023, a year out. Guys, this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. That's right, Lifted Trucks. You could be a short king just like me, but when I'm on the street, you know I'm the king of the jungle. So Lifted Trucks has been manufacturing the best custom trucks since 1995. So you guys make sure to go to liftedtrucks.com and get your lift on. Again, guys, Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev 2. This fight's about to go down. I'm going to go over the key parts and what is it that both fighters need to do in order to catch the victory. Anyhow, guys, enough talk. Let's take it to the big screen. So here we have it. Charles Oliveira, 33 versus Islam Makhachev, 31. Guys, this fight's about to take place more likely October, Abu Dhabi, the revenge. And today, on today's episode of Fight Feedback, I really want a game plan for both of these guys, and specifically the underdog, Charles Oliveira. So I hope nobody gets offended because I have to be an analyst on both sides, and the only way for me to really make a living for baby America is to break them all down. 5'10", close in age, obviously same way, but check this out. 74 reach advantage right here. This is what I'm trying to figure out from Charles Oliveira on why is it that he comes a little too close when he has a 4-inch reach advantage. There's something that I would really change about Charles Oliveira is that. Let's hit the play button. Yep, Charles right away getting aggressive. Just right away starting the fight within the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, he's saying, hey, let's bring the fight. Technically, it's not a bad thing to throw your opponent off, but how are you really going to stay there? Because if you are crossing distance, if you are in that fight zone too much, as good as your striking is, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. Look at how close. And Islam's got great defense, and he's throwing these missiles, and he's catching you, you know? He's staying inside the pocket. Islam doesn't mind that. You know why Islam doesn't mind that? Because of wrestling. And this is another thing that Charles does. And he's got to be careful with this. He did the same thing with Beneil Dariush. Is he likes to go to his back. He'll bear hug, catch the bear hug. And instead of him fighting here, he'll just say, screw it. I'm going down. And these are the positions that a lot of people, especially with top heavy control, like Islam or any Dagestani, now that they've developed that through American style wrestling, you know, they're handcuffing you. But that being said, in round one, Charles did get up. And how did he get up? Playing with the leg locks. Guys, sometimes leg locks, when you're able to take somebody down and you get the leg locks going, it scares people. You know, and he was able to get back up. You know, it's another key for Charles Oliveira to keep the fight on his feet or whatnot. But these are the areas that Islam likes. I mean, you know, he did a nice, I don't know if it's in judo they call it Huchimata, but this is wrestling. Like, he's literally throwing this guy. He's above his knee, right here. Obviously, he's jacking up that underhook, and then that fence is actually helping him too, for him to be able to get that leverage to get the actual takedown. Yep, nice kick. I don't know if you guys caught that. Boom. For Charles Oliveira. But I tell you what, guys, Islam's top control. Look at all that pressure going into him. Yeah, he did get hit. Guess what? Yeah, and you know what? This foot could knock you out. You got to be careful. But if you notice where Islam's pressure always is, guys, pressure kills. And Khabib and these guys do a hell of a good job. You see, I love the fact that Islam challenged Charles Oliveira. Typically, people shy away from him. This man fought him in those positions. Yeah, breaking distance again. He's in that fight zone too much with the 4-inch reach advantage. Look at how close they are. He's got shots and he's got takedowns. You know. Boom, gets caught with that right hook. Drops him. And then back into his web, back into what he wants. This man is not afraid of Charles Oliveira. He's not afraid of his top control. He's doing everything in his power to hit him, score points, drop them, to eventually come down to take it where he wants to take it. And now this is where the heaviness begins. You know, this is where the heaviness begins over here. You know. And after all that punishment, after dropping him all that, like he finally looked for his takedown. And these dudes are heavy. Look at where his head's at. Be able to secure that. Charles should have been scrambling right here, right away before this hand got locked. But it's almost like when I believe Charles that he wasn't there. But stylistically, I still feel like Islam is his kryptonite. And unless he's able to make a lot of these adjustments. He's top wrestling heavy. He's got good defense. He'll fight you in these other positions, and I do believe that's what makes Islam Makhachev extremely dangerous. And now, guys, I would like to take to the big board and see the keys for both these guys. What is it they have to do in order to become victorious in this next match coming up? Let's start off with none other than, you know, the champ has his name. His name is Charles Oliveira. So we're starting off with Charles Oliveira. How is it that he's going to pull out this upset? Let's go to the keys. Again, the triple C, right? The first thing that I would say for Charles Oliveira, the biggest thing that he needs to make the adjustment is his damn distance. Is his distance. His distance is something that he cannot just move forward on everybody. If Charles Oliveira thinks he's just going to move forward on a guy who has great wrestling, a guy who has great defense, and a guy who's not afraid to fight you in the pocket, you cannot do that. So number one, I would master the distance. Really master the distance, because you have to give credit where credit is due, and you got to have the ability to fight everybody different. This is why, like, some of the best fighters in the world, and particularly a guy like John Jones, he has that X factor of he's a better competitor than he is an actual fighter. Guys, like, he just knows how to win. So I would say distance is number one. Number two is getting up. Getting has two T's, right? Getting up from bottom. God, that's terrible. Maybe we should type it. Anyhow, you guys get my damn point. Getting up from bottom. If there's one thing that he could really take credit from, is somebody who was the actual best at doing that. His name is Jose Baldo. I'm sorry, Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, as a Brazilian, you should take a lot of that inspiration that you did, that you should get it from Jose Aldo, because anybody who did ended up taking down Division I wrestlers, he always got up. Jose Aldo did an amazing job of getting the fight to its feet. You know? And number three, this is one to think about, because I feel like even with these two could really change the fight. But I think even number three is stay away from the clinch. Stay away, clinch. You guys get me. Stay away from the clinch. You know, stay away from the clinch, because these were a lot of the reason why he was able to sidestep you in one of these positions or trip you. Like, you know, when you come from a wrestling ensemble background, he probably has judo too, and particularly in Dagestan. Like, these guys, they understand how to play with the legs. And, you know, over in Brazil, I'm not sure how much experience, if he's had experience in judo or wrestling, this is where it gets dangerous. So number one, key for Charles Oliveira, win the distance gate. Number two, getting up from bottom, whether he's using leg locks of that point, how he did get up in the first round. And then number three, stay away from the clinch. The clinches are really it's a green area if you really don't if you're going up against a wrestler or somebody that understands sambo, somebody that's just strictly MMA that knows how to play with the legs. And now let's get to Islam Makhachev. The keys to Islam Makhachev. Number one key is create fights. Create fights, and particularly continue to keep taking distance from him. Create the fight where you guys are going toe to toe, because that's going to allow you to get your hits. You're defensively here very, very well. And guess what, Islam, you still have your takedown. So create as much fight as you actually can. Number two, clinch him as much as you can. If you're able to clinch a Charles Oliveira, put him up against the cage and look for your sweeps, look for your takedowns, look for your blows, because you had the ability in the first fight to hit him with certain punches. But if you're able to do that with Charles Oliveira, which you did, continue to keep doing. And number three, make him work. Make him work. You have to make him work. You have to continue. When you take him down, you make sure that if he does get back up, that there's fatigue, that there's blood pumping through his shoulders and his body. Because if there's one thing that the Dagestanis do very well, and again, they took a lot of this like top riding from American style wrestling, is they're able to fatigue you. They come with good conditioning. Yeah, regardless that he had a close fight with Alexander Volkanovski, these are the things that you have to do in order for you to have the best probability of actually winning. So again, key number one, create fights. Key number two, clinch him as much as you possibly can. Look for your throws, look for the uppercuts, look for the hooks. And number three, make him work in every position. If you do take him down, make him work until he gets back up. And if he does get back up, you got to make sure that he is fatigued. So who's the winner? Guys, that's up to you guys to decide. I know these guys, both these guys personally. So I hope either one of these guys off my breakdown gets offended, because I'm just here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But if Charles Oliveira is able to make these certain adjustments, it could be that fight. If Islam Makhachev can tactically continue to draw him into his web and bring the fight as he did in the first fight, then, those are questions to be answered. But again, you guys are going to have to tune in. Sometime in October, Abu Dhabi, both of these lightweights will get it on. If Charles Oliveira wins, for whatever reason, guys, after knocking out Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Beneil Dariush, it would be hard to argue who is it that's the greatest lightweight of all time. Everything's up for grabs. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C, and I want to give a special shout out, that's right, to our sponsors, Lifted Truck. Whenever it is that you guys want a nice custom truck that's lifted, you may be short, and you may be short as hell as Triple C, but you know what? On the street, it doesn't matter. So you guys make sure to go to liftedtrucks.com and get your lift on. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C, and I will always deliver, and we are